Let's talk about Jeff Bezos. Just the other week, Jeff Bezos was a passenger. I was going to say flew to space, but technically he didn't fly to space. He sat and was flown to space as a rich man who flew his younger brother to space with him and flew Wally Funk, which is pretty dope, by the way, because shout out to Wally Funk. You're an impressive woman who absolutely deserves to go to space and should get her wings because she, of any of the people that have gone to space recently, deserve her astronaut wings because she probably could have flown into space, but they didn't actually need to because it was an fully autonomous vehicle. Flew up, floated them out, they landed. All they had to do was just sit there, detach, float around, reattach. That's literally like the extent of what they had to do. Anyway, check this out. Jeff Bezos is not an astronaut. FAA changes rules for how it awards astronauts wings. They say the Blue Origin flight crew don't comply as the ship was entirely controlled at the ground. Why is that so satisfying? Why that is just, I don't know why that's so why is that so satisfying? I think it's because the way that he was like, "Hey, thanks everybody. You paid for it." Ha ha ha. It's like, dude, Jeff Bezos would have to spend like $200 million a day to lose money. Like that's how much money this guy makes a day. Dude is just insanely rich. Anyway, despite flying to the edge of space, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos does not qualify for his astronaut wings after the U.S. Federal Aviation Authority tightens its rules. Bezos and the crew of the Blue Origin took off their base at Van Horn, Texas at 9:12 a.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, the 52nd anniversary of the moon landing. They ascended for 4 minutes before the fully autonomous New Shepard rocket booster separated, leaving them floating in zero gravity for 4 minutes. It was the autonomous portion of the spaceflight that will see Bezos, his brother Mark, Wally Funk, and Oliver Damon miss out on their FAA-approved wings. In order to qualify, they have to make a contribution to the flight and to human space flight safety while traveling beyond the 50 miles mark defined as space by the FAA. It is possible Wally Funk may be given honorary astronaut wings by the FAA for demonstrating an extraordinary contribution to human spaceflight. Now, I fully agree. I actually did a segment on Bezos going to space, and I made it all about Wally Funk. Why? Because she deserves it. This woman has flown more than most pilots ever will. 19,600 hours. She's trained over 3,000 pilots how to fly. This woman's incredible. All right. She was turned down. We were just talking about Blizzard. All right. Women being passed over for promotions. Wally Funk got passed over and over and over again by people that were lesser than her. All right. She was an incredible pilot that deserved to go to space. So as much as this might piss Robert Shaw off, thank you, Bezos, for bringing Wally Funk to space. And hey, FAA, give her wings. She deserves it because she absolutely could have flown any one of the, literally any space flight mission. She's been in space since the beginning, right? In space flight. She could have been on any of those seats and flown in space because she's top qualified for all of this. So she deserves her wings. Even if Bezos doesn't get his FAA wings, it doesn't take away from them going into space, as Blue Origin's New Shepard easily passed the 50-mile mark. This made Bezos the richest man to go to space, Wally Funk the oldest, and Oliver Damon the youngest. Here's Bezos floating in space after being launched 66 miles into space on Tuesday morning by the Shepard rocket. Of course, this was it last week? I don't know. Time is just warping by for me. Here he is wearing a cowboy hat. It's just some reason it just doesn't feel right. Right? I don't know. Anyway, here his his phallic rocket taking off. So far, only Virgin Galactic pilots flying the space plane from the cockpit and chief astronaut Beth Moses, who flew solo in the cabin on the test flight, have been awarded the new commercial FAA astronaut wings. Nobody from the Blue Origin has qualified. With the Blue Origin New Shepard spacecraft controlled entirely from the ground, with no input from the crew on board, the new FAA criteria wasn't met. This could put the entire space tourism industry in doubt, experts predict, as passengers on various spacecrafts wouldn't get their wings. I mean, it makes sense. You're a passenger. You're not an astronaut. We'd have to come up with a new word, right? Because astronauts it's kind of like a pilot. It's the same, it's a pilot that flies in space. So if you're it's like being a captain of your own ship or flying in space. You have to actually physically fly out in space to become an astronaut, and that makes sense to me. I'd be okay with that. It is possible a new category of space tourist or commercial astronaut is created to describe those who go to space purely as a passenger rather than crew or pilots. Mary Robinette Cowell, award-winning author of the Lady Astronaut series, suggested on Twitter that the astronaut should be an earned term reserved for someone engaged in space exploration and science. She said, "One of the things that bothers me is calling these passengers astronauts. Spacefarers." That's not bad. Spacefarer. I like that. That's not bad. That's not bad. Yes, I've felt like an astronaut ought to be earned term. I agree 100%. This doesn't mean that they would be astronauts, as the firms themselves could issue their own wings with a tourist becoming a Virgin Galactic or Blue Origin astronaut, but they wouldn't be issued or recognized by an independent authority like the FAA, which would be lame. Blue Origin has argued that because they fly above the internationally recognized Karman line at 62 miles above the Earth, they met international astronaut standards, whereas Virgin Galactic only operates to just 50 miles. Bezos is so jealous that he was beaten into space by a different billionaire. It's true. Come on. It really just, I wouldn't be surprised if Washington Post came out with an article that just, went into the details about how they went into space because of the internationally recognized Karman line. Get out of here. And, oh, by the way, the Karman line is the line defined as the edge of space by both NASA and the FAA. And so far, only Virgin Galactic pilots, as well as a chief astronaut, Beth Moses, who flew solo in the cabin. They already said this. Anyway. So, hey, Bezos. I don't know why that's so satisfying. It's satisfying, all right? I'm not trying to, be mean or anything, but he can afford it to be ridiculed a little bit. You weren't first, and you didn't get your wings. Okay.